In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new class added to Diablo 4 at BlizzCon this past weekend, and that is the Rogue class. This is the first time we've seen the Rogue since Diablo 1, Diablo 2, nor Diablo 3, nor Diablo Immortal have a Rogue class, so this is the first time it's making its return in over 20 years. Previously for Diablo 4, the announced classes were Barbarian, Druid, and Sorceress, and now the Rogue is the addition to that group. There's still one more class to be yet announced, but the Rogue is going to fulfill the dexterity/finesse class that's been missing from that group. So this is going to be a very agile and mobile class. In terms of mobility, the class has a dash skill as well as shadow step, and it's going to be the most mobile class out of the classes in Diablo 4. So if you like to be, that very agile character, one moving in and out of combat very quickly, then this is something that you'll want to look forward to. Additionally, the Rogue will be able to use a mix of melee and ranged combat, and they'll be using swords and daggers as well as bows and crossbows. And if you watch the gameplay, you'll notice that they sort of dart into combat melee, back out, use bows, etc. And they're mixing melee and ranged attacks together, which is quite fantastic. This means that if you're used to playing the Demon Hunter from Diablo 3, it's going to play a bit differently because Demon Hunters are, primarily ranged characters. I don't even think they have a melee ability. So they're going to be, primarily ranged, whereas the Rogue's going to be able to do both. That's not to say you can't play as a ranged Rogue or a melee Rogue because it's been announced that you can. It's just that it blends itself very well to the flexibility of being able to melee and ranged in, a series of events of combat. The Rogue class is going to have 3 specializations, which are Combo Points, Shadow Realm, and Exploit Weakness. Combo Points build up as you do basic attacks, and they basically increase the effectiveness of your abilities that use class resources. So, you might get into a rotation of doing 2 or 3 basic attacks and then using an ability if you're going to go this route, and that sort of gets you into a rhythm of combat where you do a couple basic attacks, then use a class ability, a couple basic attacks, use a class ability, etc. So that is one playstyle available to the Rogue. Shadow Realm allows you to pull enemies into an alternate dimension where you can attack them for extra damage and you can't be hit. And what this allows you to do is get out of very dangerous situations, or maybe you're surrounded by a bunch of really strong enemies or a whole bunch of enemies. Pull some of them into the Shadow Realm with you, not all of them. Take them out real quick, then reappear in the game world, and now there are less enemies to deal with, or maybe one really tough enemy is gone, and you can get on with the show. So that is another playstyle. Exploit Weakness allows the Rogue to retaliate against certain enemies while fighting them in combat. They'll get a little marker over their head when they can do this. And essentially what's going to happen is if they can attack that target fast enough when this occurs, they're going to not only critically hit them, but hit them for extra damage. So this is a very reactive style of play, and one who's, for somebody that's got really quick reflexes. Another really cool thing about the Rogue is that they are going to get specific quest lines that are only available to them. As far as I know, this is not true for any other class in the game. Only the Rogues will have class quests. And these are going to be based on the specialization that the Rogue chooses. So if the Rogue chooses a certain one, then they'll have this quest line available to them. And at the end of that faction's quest line, they're going to be rewarded with a very, very powerful skill. So obviously that's going to influence not only which specialization you want, but which quest line you take. Another really cool and I think particularly potent aspect of the Rogue is the Imbue ability. They're able to imbue their attacks or their weapons with certain elements, allowing them to change the type of damage that they deal. For instance, if they put cold on their rain of arrows, they can do like an icy rain of arrows that freezes enemies or slows them down. Or maybe they put poison or something like this. So this is going to have a lot of benefits. Not only, does it synergize nicely with other classes. For instance, maybe you're playing with a friend who's a sorcerer who uses ice spells and you're using rain of arrows, but that does cold damage. Maybe you freeze things faster together. Or, maybe you just need a fire poison damage or fire damage or something because the target you're facing has really strong resistances to physical damage or maybe cold, so you swap to a different type. And it has a lot of implications on how effective a Rogue can be in combat. Another really interesting thing to consider about the Rogue class is the implications that it has on PvP. You're going to be able to dash into groups or shadow step into groups, being able to appear, go invisible, appear in the middle of them, do some attacks, freeze them all, attack them or something, or maybe pull one guy into the Shadow Realm, kill him, go back out, fight the other guy, etc. if there's a group of 2. This is something that's going to be really unique to the Rogue class, and I think it gives them a bit of an edge in PvP. So if you're a new at PvP in Diablo, or if you just feel like, you want to be that first strike type of class, the Rogue is going to excel at that. Even though we haven't done other class videos for Diablo 4, you can expect more Diablo content from us. If you guys like, I'll actually put those together covering those classes as well. If that's something if you're interested in, please leave that in the comments below if you'd like to see that. But we're going to be doing more Diablo 4 coverage moving forward. The game I don't think is going to come out till probably next year at the earliest, so there isn't going to be a ton of coverage on this site. Obviously, we do a lot of builds and guides and things like that, and that's not possible until the game is released. But we will try and keep you updated on what's coming to the game and what changes or what they're adding over the course of that period.